Who had the most impressive start so far in the preseason?
Well, to me, it was Shedeur. I didn't see any interceptions when he was out there. I didn't see anything like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think Dillon Gabriel did a bad job. I was impressed with the brother, but I'm going to go with Shedeur. You know, the pressure was on him. The spotlight was on him. He showed up out on the field. You know, he played better than expected, reminded everybody who he is and what he brings to the table. I liked it. You know, but that's not to throw any shade on Dillon Gabriel. He came out there, had a couple of mishaps, what have you, but ultimately he played well, and I give him credit where credit is due. But watching Shedeur move the offense or whatever, I thought that his performance was slightly better than Dillon Gabriel. That's just me, guys.
Tonight, Cleveland is back under the bright lights. A costly fumble, a hot mic, a fan base that will not be quiet. If you're here for truth and energy, hit like and subscribe. And if you love Shedeur, then comment one line for Shedeur. Your voice will be on screen in our next show. On the field, I saw Shedeur. No interceptions, no panic, no reckless decisions. Do not get me wrong. Dillon Gabriel did not play a bad game. He had moments. He battled. I was impressed with the brother. But I am going with Shedeur. The pressure was on him. The spotlight was on him. And he answered. He showed up when it mattered. He played better than many expected. He reminded everyone who he is and what he brings to the table. He moved the offense. He kept drives alive. He set a tone in my book. His performance was slightly better than Dillon Gabriel. That is my read. And we have to do the compare and contrast. The real juxtaposition. How each man handled the post-game press conference after that first preseason action. That part matters. Then the story flipped. After Dillon Gabriel's costly fumble and his harsh comments about Shedeur Sanders, the spotlight swung right back on the Browns once again. Pressure is mounting. The fan base is louder than ever. They're rallying around Shedeur Sanders. They want him to start against the Cincinnati Bengals. They want that chance now. The drumbeat is not a whisper. It is a march.
Two giveaways really were the difference there in that first half, because I thought we were doing some really good things, but then we got that takeaway, had a takeaway negated by an offside, so we're just trying to hammer home.
The crowd united. The heat is on Kevin Stefanski, and this time the criticism is not casual. It is intense and widespread. He rolled with Dillon Gabriel in the previous game. Now, many are openly questioning Stefanski's judgment and his process. They want clarity. They want conviction. They want a plan that makes football sense. What stands out even more is the reluctance to address the quarterback debate head on. Where does the head coach really stand on Shedeur? Why the hesitation? Reporters pressed him. Opening day starter at quarterback. Will you set the pecking order for quarterback 2, 3, and 4? Or will there be a competition right through Cincinnati week? He said the team would be in tomorrow and he would talk through a bunch of things with the players. He said he is not thinking about first string and second string right this minute. That did not settle anything. At his most recent press conference, Stefanski looked unsettled. The pauses told a story. The uncertainty was clear. He did not look comfortable tackling the quarterback question, especially when Shedeur Sanders came up. He was asked why he plans to play the regular starter in the third preseason game this year after avoiding it last. Yeah! His exact words were these: "We do what the players need." It did not add clarity. It raised more questions. The message reads like this: he is hesitant to give Shedeur aerial shot, yet he is cautious about speaking out against him. He knows. The fans have a point. He knows this town is listening. He knows the locker room is watching. When pressed again on the quarterback decision, he said this: "We will decide in a couple of days. No one believes you can find your starting quarterback in 2 days. That is not a plan. That is buying time." Fans can see it. They know their voices are being heard. They know pressure is a lever in this league. Keep the drumbeat going, and Stefanski may have no choice but to push Shedeur Sanders higher on the depth chart. Reporters circled back. What do you plan to do at quarterback for the dress rehearsal game? What is the timeline for naming a week 1 starter? He said he wanted to get through the next couple days. He said it will happen sooner than later. Sooner than later is not a deadline. It is a fog. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel's comments spiraled. The pressure on the Browns intensified. Analysts stepped in. Chris Canty did not hold back. He said Shedeur has shown more promise than Gabriel. He said that on the field and at the podium, Shedeur's debut stood out more. He handled the moment, he framed history, and yes, we are back to the compare and contrast. The real juxtaposition between how each man handled that first post-game press conference. Because quarterbacking is not just the huddle, it is the podium. 2, at the same time, Gabriel has been trying to repair his reputation. He walked his remarks back. He called them a miscommunication, but was it? The comments sounded direct, they sounded deliberate. There was not much room for doubt. He took a clear shot. Now that the backlash hit, he is dialing it back. This is where the line gets clear. There is a big difference between a genuine competitor and a player who slips into entertainer talk. Chris Canty drew a straight line that many of you noticed. He compared Gabriel's entertainer remark to the famous Oregon soundbite, when Dan Lanning said Colorado was doing it for clicks and they were doing it for wins. Back then, Shedeur Sanders was at the center for Colorado, Coach Prime on the sideline, national cameras locked in, and now Gabriel's words sound close in tone. That is not a harmless slip. It fits a bigger narrative. No matter how head trees to brush it off, the intent reads loud. The cover does not hold weight. Fans are not buying. The calls for Shedeur to start are growing louder. One clip laid it out clean. He stepped into the spotlight here as the entertainer. Is that how you took it? Absolutely. How could it not go there? Remember when his former head coach at Oregon gave that pregame speech? Colorado doing it for clicks. We doing it for wins. Remember, Shedeur was the quarterback for the Buffaloes. His dad is Coach Prime. The parallels are obvious. Then Shannon Sharpe came out swinging. He did not let it slide. He said this was not a misinterpretation. He said too many people are trying to twist the words into something else. He called the remark intentional and pointed. No amount of backpedaling will change that. To drive it home, he brought up last season. Oregon's head coach took a public jab, but Colorado used almost the same language and tone. And just like now, the target was Shedeur Sanders. Here is the kicker in that take. The quarterback on the other side during that moment was Dillon Gabriel. He was right there in the center of it. He knows exactly what that line sounds like. Gabriel now says he meant the media or the entertainers. He says he's a competitor. He says it was not a shot at Shedeur. But the damage is done. Everybody knows what he meant. Ask yourself this. Who was the quarterback in that Oregon Week speech? Who was under center for Colorado? Who lived through that moment? The answers explain why fans are not buying the walk back. Chris Canty pressed even harder. He said Gabriel took indirect shots at Shedeur while trying to act like he did not. And even if you claim aimed at the media, what does that prove? The media has a job. Report and analyze. The player has a job. Prepare and perform. That balance is how this sports world works. When you twist that line, you do not look tough. You look rattled. Under scrutiny, the excuse falls apart. It makes you look weaker, not stronger. Now the media is joining the fans. People are calling for a quarterback change. They want Shedeur Sanders higher on the depth chart. And there was a message to Gabriel as well. Take it as a teachable moment. When you're the quarterback, leadership is part of the job. You must be sharp on the field and sharp at the podium. That tone in the post-game presser was the wrong tone. You cannot win the room if you lose the mic. At this point, it is bigger than a preseason choice. Dillon Gabriel's on-field struggles combined, with his harsh comments off it, have poured gasoline on a depth chart debate. What started as performance talk has become a test of leadership and accountability. Fans and analysts see a clear difference in how Shedeur Sanders carries himself. The contrast is obvious. On steady, one shaky, one building trust, one playing catch-up. Chris Canty and Shannon Sharpe both made the same point in their own style. Gabriel's words were not slips. They were deliberate. The walk back weakened his case. Instead of taking ownership, he looked like a player racing to protect his image. Locker rooms noticed that. Cities like Cleveland noticed that. It does not play well. On the other side, Shedeur has shown composure. He has shown maturity. He has shown promise, not only in his debut performance, but in the way he handles pressure and questions. He looks like a quarterback who understands the whole job. The huddle, the headset, the podium, the city. So here is where it lands tonight. The pressure on Kevin Stefanski is at its peak. Fans demand change. Media voices echo that call. The answers from the podium keep sounding vague. We will decide in a couple of days. Sooner than later. That language does not settle a locker room. It does not calm a city. People want a decision. They want direction. They want a leader under center. When the Bengals line up across from them, if momentum keeps building, Stefanski may have no choice. He may need to elevate Shedeur Sanders on the depth chart. He may need to give him the rightful chance to lead this team. Because the tape speaks. The presser speaks. The locker room speaks. And this fan base speaks loud. What do you think? Is Kevin Stefanski truly making the best decision for the team? Or is he buying time under fan and media pressure? Should Shedeur Sanders be named the starter right now? Or does Dillon Gabriel deserve another chance to prove himself? And what about Gabriel's comments? Was it a miscommunication? Or was the backlash justified? Drop your take in the comments, hit like and subscribe for more daily breakdowns and film. Room dives. And if you love Shedeur, then comment one line for Shedeur. We will feature their top ones in the next video. Cleveland, your move. Cleveland, your move.
Thanks for staying informed with us. If you found this update helpful, give it a thumbs up, drop your thoughts in the comments, share the video with others who should know, and hit that subscribe button with the bell so you're always first to hear the latest breaking stories.